And here they are. Simon did win the battle, and as you can see here, he is playing Mikanko.
Yeah, I mean, credit where credit is due. This strategy was popularized by Edception at the last YCS, playing this Mikanko turn 1 strategy. Typically, you would assume it's like a go second sort of OTK deck, but no, incorporating some really unconventional strategies in here. The brand new Ken and Jen, as we've seen from the latest core set, is being played by Simon. That allows you to give your opponent a monster, trigger some powerful abilities, as well as link up into Geonator Transverser. The win condition based on Acid Golem, a staple in Burning Abyss 9 years ago. And we see it back here as you give it to your opponent with the Geonator Transverser, and they cannot special summon, is how this deck works. And I guess we'll see if Simon can pull it off. A singular roto. Oh, that's huge.
Main deck draw and lock.
Main deck, yeah.
Don't see it every day, but...
And by the way, Alessandro is playing Rikka.
Yeah.
It's a quite a popular deck, shall we say, in Europe. It seems to be just unbelievably resilient in this circuit here. But yeah, let's see if Simon's deck can do anything through reinforcement of the army. What did he actually add with the Rhoda? I think I missed it.
I think it was either Ken.
Yeah, one of them.
One of the Jenkins?
Yeah, Jen or Ken, I think. Pretty sure. And yeah, this troll in the main deck is certainly something you don't expect to see.
Troll and Lockbird, as we mentioned a few rounds ago, for those of you tuning in here, in terms of the highest population of... that's not ideal. Oh, right.
Ooh,
okay.
Okay.
Time Wizard play here of T-set pass. That's how ritual decks kind of go. You really... Okay. Plant players are just so good. This is amazing. Draw a Lockbird into unexpected dice, special summon Lokai out of the deck here. Let's take a look at Simon's list here, see if there's any hand traps or something, because he's going to really need it.
He's going to be in trouble because
yeah.
no hand traps in the main deck.
Ah,
wow.
Yes. No hand traps in the main deck.
This is not ideal.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, he's just going to pick up the
wow.
card. It's okay.
What a start to this.
That's really unfortunate.
Well,
okay.
Well, that was short. That was short.
Yep.
That was unexpected.
What can you do? Sometimes that's
Mikanko
just
best
how it
deck?
is. Absolutely. You heard it here first. And no, but jokes aside, sometimes that's how it goes. Honestly, Drawn and Lock is not something that you would expect in the main deck. We did mention that it's super popular, but that is mainly due to the side deck, not the main deck. Works out though, apparently. Just one game away from going 9-0, that is Alessandro in this future match. Honestly, good strategy. Draw plus die seems good. Yeah. Let's do it again.
Draw die, just do it again. Forehead should be quite simple.
Simple strategy. Humble strategy. Is this humble strategy? Humble combo?
Hopefully we'll see a humble combo in this next game here. It would be really cool to really sort of showcase for you guys to take a look at just exactly what this deck is supposed to do. It's a really, really mishmash of different archetypes. You know, using Mikanko, we've got the Sinful Spoil engine as well. There's some Infernoble cards as well to be able to get you warrior searches out. Yeah, lots of good defensive cards, but not like hand traps. We're playing Triple Talons, we're playing Thrust. These are the kind of cards you would hope to have, but unfortunately, Simon just didn't have any of those.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we talked about it before, sometimes just conceal your strategy. I don't think you're ever going to expect, oh yes, my opponent's on Mikanko.
Yeah. However, we must say that there is one purple, as we now clearly define it, card in the side deck for Simon, which really shines in this matchup, right, Alberto? And it's a continuous drop card, that is.
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite one,
which
is their Camille one.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I told you before, like, I will play like a deck that goes set monster, set 4 pass. I mean, I will do it. So.
Anti-spell is my favorite continuous trap.
Is it?
Yeah. If I had to pick one.
Mine might be skill drain, honestly. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Say it proud and loud. But yeah, as mentioned, he does have 3 copies of There Can Be Only One, and that card is insane against the deck. So maybe if he opens that up, we could even stop a draw plus unexpected die combo. But without further ado, they're almost done with their side deck, so let's jump back into game 2.
Well, Simon's deck does revolve around the Acid Golem interaction, but I do find it kind of strange that we actually play There Can Be Only One, because I feel like if you're going to establish that combo, then what does it really do?
Yeah.
But I guess maybe it's like a backup plan, specifically in the instances where you get drolled. Yeah, you just flip There Can Be Only One, and you're in a pretty decent spot here. So anyway, Simon is going to start up here, and if we activate any sort of search card, which probably is going to be likely in a ritual deck, so it'll be interesting to see if Alessandro has opened it once again. Special summon Fenrir, probably not using the... Okay, we are going to use the effect here. And this is where we have to hold and see if our opponent responds on resolution here. Adding
and it is again!
Okay!
Wow. Okay.
Roll and Lockbird, 2 games in a row on the resolution here of Fenrir. The crowd went a little bit wild there. You guys enjoy that? Yeah, Troll and Lockbird? Nice, all right. Let's see if Simon can do anything to proceed through this. I mean, it's just really hard, specifically in a deck like, Rituals, that typically you have to search so much. I mean, he's got even all of these inflammable cards, they all search.
All of them.
The sinful cards, everything, yeah. He really needs like a thrust or talents here. We can see him tapping on the desk. Usually if we're tapping, then, we're coming up with something. Ooh, okay.
Okay. We'll take a look at the end. Oh, wow.
No, not a great hand by Alessandro.
Interesting hand here.
Yeah, so he wants to double check the the sowing text, because if you put it back, you can't just search it with Dryas, but if you don't have a way to make Dryas, then it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So just denying any sort of engine might be a good idea. And now the DD Crows are trying to think if they're good against Mikanko.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Weird, not a Mikanko expert, but we'll see if that actually comes up here.
I'm also trying to think, what do you even see about Simon's deck? Right, only,
you
Rota into, what was it? Either
so
probably can or can, but that's it. Yeah. He didn't see any other cards, so if you just thought that he would, maybe just, I mean, to be fair, they're both 8-0. They probably saw each other's deck while they were next to each other for the last few rounds, so maybe he knows more than we do.
Well, if my opponent T-sets after I draw them, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to keep that in. So
oh, interesting.
Takes away one of the crows here. Maybe he feels he can play through 1 crow, but not 2. Lets him keep the sowing, but okay.
Do we have an Anima in the deck for Alessandro?
Alessandro running Anima? Most likely not, right?
Yeah, most likely you don't have the space.
Nope.
But
yeah, the plant extra deck is super
otherwise,
tight here.
The zone positioning from Simon could have been awkward there.
Yeah, so Judge is just double checking some interactions here, so we'll continue play in just a moment, see exactly.
Yeah, in the meantime, we can quickly go back to us while we wait for that to check what's going on. But yeah, right now, straight up, looking similar to game 1. Obviously, a Fenrir makes a big difference here. And also, we take a look at the end from Alessandro. And that's not looking promising. Needs a top deck.
Not at all.
Real bad.
Well, you just need a die or a loci off the top. I'm sure he'll get there. It's interesting to see just how much this plant deck has, I suppose, adapted to the format. You play so much disruption and hand traps. He's opted to go with hand traps. Some people more so go in the direction of field breakers, your talents, etc., etc. So yeah, we're just going to double check exactly what's going on here as we update you as the game progresses.
Absolutely, but maybe we can quickly take a look at the deck of Simon. More specifically, for anybody who is not too familiar with it, what's the goal of the deck? There are multiple ways of playing the Mikanko deck. I think he's using a very unique strategy. First of all, he's using multiple Gen and Cans, and this allows you to play 3 copies of Triple Tactic Talent and 3 copies of Thrust in the main deck. It's a very unique interaction where you basically, similarly to Dark World with Ceruli, have a way that you force your opponent of activating a monster effect, although it was originally yours. And this way you can activate this powerful spell right away. But the rest of the combo involves a lot of different things, which in this case I think has a lot to do with the Isold as well.
Yeah.
Isold allows you to send multiple equip spells from the deck. And what do you guys think is typical landing field? He has a lot of different options available, right? From Appaloosa maybe to, a lot of different interactions.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is trying to give your opponent the acid golem.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of combo pieces there. Apollosa, Baron, and we also see a Power 2 Braver Dragon. I haven't seen that being used as an Enfield piece for a, well, not at least at the YCS level. But yeah, it's a cool deck, you know, popularized at the last YCS in Richmond, and
Seems super consistent.
Yeah, it would be cool to see just exactly how Simon has reiterated upon it, because I think he's taken a pretty unique developed strategy utilizing Ken and Jen from Age of Overlords, and then adding upon that with something like Infernobles, I think is a cool way to really develop the strategy, because Mikanko, it's kind of like one of those strategies that sort of struggles with going first. And it's very sort of, the gimmick is that you do reflect damage when you attack into your opponent's monster. You don't take battle damage, your monster can't be destroyed by battle, deal the damage to them. So the idea is you sort of go second and wipe out your opponent's life points. But if you give your deck the ability to do that and also have a turn 1 play, then it becomes quite an all-round good deck, rather than just being strong going first or second.
And the same can be said by the 6 copies of Triple Tactics. Because again, those cards usually are really good for going second. Depending on the popularity of hand traps, they can be good going first. But when you have, can and gang combos, then again, the deck becomes really good at going both first and second, and that's huge. Especially, when you have a 12 rounds event plus top 64, I know pretty well that you cannot rely on die rolls often, and then you need to find, some other ways. But I'm still surprised that he went with, no hand traps at all.
Yeah, I suppose like thrust and talents are kind of what you're looking for. Just using these kind of different cards to go second and then take apart your opponent's field that way. And one of the sort of downsides of thrust is that you have to set a card when you go first. But when you're playing the Ken and Jen, you give your opponent a monster. That's going to let you use that bonus effect of thrust, which is adding it directly to your hand, and then furthering your plays depending on what you need in that current situation.
No, I think the deck is very nice, especially because, like we talked about, is how experienced players sometimes try to bring some spice to the table. Yeah. And I think this deck is both consistent, he has a lot of different options, and also I think that most of the players this weekend don't really know how to play against this deck, no? So it's, yeah.
Not going to be super familiar with Mikanko, I think, for the average player here. No. I think, you come into a tournament like this, huge tournament, almost 2,500 players are attending us this weekend. You're going to be pretty ready for Unchained. You're probably going to be pretty ready for Rescue Ace, Pearly, probably Tier. You play against Mikanko, you're like, not sure what these cards do. So, one of the massive advantages of playing something a little bit more rogue and outside the sort of sphere of the meta. Your opponent is also going to potentially mess up against you. And
not knowing well what your card do is the main reason why even Alessandro's deck has been successful in the past. And apparently players never learn a few things, because, Rikka has been dominating quite a bit here in Europe. And the main reason is probably that, to be fair, because I'm especially surprised in a format like this one, where you see a lot of hand traps around. Usually that's not something that Rikka is comfortable doing, but then Alessandro is 8-0 with the deck once again. So really just 1 or 2 matches away from guaranteeing at least a spot in the top 64. And what do you guys think of the deck as of today? Like, where does it stand?
Plants. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? I find it very interesting. There's this dichotomy between Europe and North America where it just has not had any success at all. Yet for some reason in Europe, it has multiple tops, multiple wins. Yeah. European Championship, YCSs, multiple high finishes. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the air or something over here.
I think the reason why this deck is so successful is because with one card you still, you have them all, no? We were talking about this before, how Centurion plays well through hand traps, and I think the deck does it at its best, honestly, because still, I think after more than a year, players don't really know how to activate hand traps in the right spot. And I think this gives Rikka players a huge advantage, honestly. And I think, Rikka or Centurion with only one card that can combo off. So it's...
Stop the Jasmine. Well, we'll see how it fares this weekend. I think it's always in a good spot in this situation. There's so many different decks. There's so many different archetypes. I think Josh mentioned it on stream earlier today. It's a comfort pick for his deck. Sometimes when you come to a tournament like this, if you play the deck that you're comfortable with, you know the inside outs of. I think you'll have a better time than trying to play something like, oh, well, Rescue Ace is perceived to be the best deck, but if you don't know all of those intricate lines, like dodge Imperm, that play through Nibiru, then you're going to mess up, and it's better to just stick with something that you know best.
Yeah, and also yesterday was, you know, having an interview with Lorenzo Muselli, who was still in the tournament, and it was telling me, yeah, I mean, I feel confident about the deck, but I really wanted to play something that can only basically combo off with one card. So, okay. I mean, I feel him. Like, I mean, there's a lot of different options. Like, we have 10+ decks in the tournament. And I feel like that playing Rikka, if you've been playing it for a while and you really know how to combo off, you know, blindfolded, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's how much some people love their deck. You know? They can do it in their sleep. So, what would you play for this event?
Oh, it's a tough question for sure. I also think that is in a spot in which you need to play, you know, decks that don't have to, you know, rely too much on how many cards they used to combo off, because there are a lot of interesting decks around, but you think you need to play. We saw it in the previous rounds often. You need your Entrops, you need your, you know, cards like Talent, and when your deck naturally requires like 3 cards or more to combo through, I don't think that's something that you can do. But maybe there is also the line from Alberto. Maybe the Labyrinth could be the way. Maybe our savior. You know, you never know. Because sometimes, again, you can take it the other way around. If you expect everyone to be playing 12 Entrops, and then outside of Ash Blossom, which obviously really hurts, the rest of them are very bad against your deck, then you're in a really good spot, and that could be the way. So if you play Labyrinth, maybe that can be. And we are seeing a lot of the top tables, so that could be an interesting way out. Otherwise, I do totally agree with you that just, we already mentioned it, in these kind of events, what you're comfortable with is just the safest option. So probably whatever I would have played the most in the previous months would have been my option as well. Because you just have the natural advantage over everybody else, and then, yeah, you can't expect to learn all of the decks that we are seeing today as well as yours. So this is exactly what's happening.
And how about yourself? What would you bring?
Honestly, I think for this event, although like I love Labyrinth and I would have played it, but I really like Centurion. Like I think it has been recently released. I like the mechanic of the deck, you know, of having basically monsters as traps. Maybe that's why I will play it, you know, because you know you have traps in the deck still. But I mean, I liked it, so I would have played Centurion, honestly. Yeah, that's why I didn't call it when we had to pick up one of the decks to win. So not to jinx it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You know. One-card combos is a great way to, you know,
perfect. Yeah,
solidify your chances because you're so versatile. But I think we might be okay to head back to the table now. We have resolved the dispute, so we'll jump back into the game here and continue this duel for you.
And here we are, for anyone who might have missed it or doesn't remember what was going on. We saw the entire end from Alessandro, and he's just holding into a Diddy Crow Talent and sewing at the moment. So,
yeah, if you're just joining us now, Droll and Lockbird has resolved, which has impeded Simon quite heavily here. But Triple Talents was used, putting back a copy of Diddy Crow. So Alessandro's hand now is a Sunvine Sewing, as well as a second copy of the Crow. And another card here. Looks like we're going to go with the Dia Bellstar, sending the Watch, the Wanted from the hand to special summon itself here.
And yeah, this is Mikanko. We can't remember that.
This is a Mikanko deck, by the way. So we'll see what Simon is planning from here.
Obviously still under that Droll and Lock Bird, which can significantly limit its plays, but then is good enough. And here, just one of the multiple cards that you can special summon with this engine that is played by so many decks at the moment.
Yeah, I think having a deck that has a weakness to a specific hand trap, something like Dimension Shifter, something like Droll, if your deck can afford to just do anything through the combo, then that's also going to be a massive plus. Obviously, Simon wasn't able to pull that off in game 1, but game number 2 here, despite being on the Droll, he is trying to piece together some sort of play here. And this is an interesting card here. It is
Courageous Crimson Chevalier.
Bradamante.
Bradamante it is indeed. And here it is. Also a tuner.
Yeah, level 1 tuner being used with the Rise Heart.
Yeah.
That has manipulated its level. Ooh, we're actually going to go for a link play here, in fact. Isolde is going to be able to special summon from the deck, which does not really care about Droll and Lockbird. Summon a warrior out. And then potentially, maybe we can still do some Ken and Jen plays, but we'll see. Will it be Knuff?
Oof.
3 cards in hand from Alessandro here, by the way, remember. So if Simon can just do anything, like, he's going to be in a really good spot here. Because Alessandro specifically needs to draw Loci or die off the top right now to be able to mount any kind of counter.
Yeah, and I'm wondering whether still that Diddy Crow makes sense. I felt like maybe the talent could have been also another option if you feel like you set up just one disruption, you know.
Yeah, there it is. We're actually going to be sending 3 here, and I'm pretty sure that will just be the Ken and Jen engine. On top of that, you can actually trigger the Ken and Jen to discard a card from your opponent's hand. And that is going to be another card out of Alessandro's, depending on if Simon decides to go that route. Because I mean, what else would you do, right? Because you can't use the draw portion. So yeah, rip another card out the opponent's hand here. Just reading these Mikanko equips, they all have semi-relevant effects in the graveyard. No Mikankos are currently in circulation, however.
Yeah, and you can tell Simon is really thinking about this because he has to navigate through the draw Lockbird, which might not be easy. But yeah, and Alessandro in the meantime, that Simon thinks is reading through Simon's cards. Okay.
Yeah, he's doing really well to navigate through this. Okay, he's actually going to go for the Hare, the Sword Mikanko. I think this one sets from the deck. Let's just double check here. If an equip becomes equipped to this, add a Mikanko, so we can't do that. Okay, interesting. Oh, all right. Thrust. Gonna set something from the deck here. We didn't really see too many relevant cards that we can go for with this, right? Okay, all right. We are gonna go for the Mikanko, the singular trap card that he's playing here. It's the Mikanko Spirit Walk.
Yeah.
So you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and equip that face-up monster to a Mikanko you controls an equip spell. So basically, just stealing a monster your opponent controls, equipping it onto the Hare.
But I think that kind of does it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you normal summon or top deck the Loci, even if it's a special summon with unexpected die, just steal it. And
the best thing is that it's a trap card, so that talent does not matter. And I think this is pretty much it. You don't really need anything else.
Yeah, especially like
with
the Fenrir. You know, there's 2 lines of defense here versus an opponent having basically 1 play.
And now play is back to Alessandro. Simon knows. He knows his hand, and so he knows that he doesn't really have to commit anything else. That's it. I like it. And I don't really see any top deck that can save the situation here, unless, you know, he's playing Pot of Desires or any, you know, draw 2 kind of card.
Yeah, you really do need 2 answers to be able to push through here. Even really 3 answers you would need, and that's just not enough cards. We have math on that is not checking out for me.
Nope. But regardless, here we are gonna start things off.
Okay, Duster. But we don't have follow-up. That's the issue.
If only we played that Anima.
Well, he does have the Sowing actually, right? But that's not gonna get too far through a Fenrir, I think, because we did put back one of the crows. So Spirit Walk is eliminated. It's a very good top deck actually, and all things considered.
Actually, it's pretty good.
Still have our Sowing special summon from the deck. Did we draw an Ash Blossom potentially? Is that maybe why Simon didn't let it go through? Okay, looks like it is resolving.
Yeah, because why did we get rid of the DD Crow then?
Yeah, none of his plays lost to DD Crow. He didn't really interact with the graveyard at all, so I think just letting your opponent keep the DD Crow and take away the Sowing, completely denying them engine, might have been the better play here.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay. We're going to take 1,000 damage here, special summoning out the Loci. Top deck Duster actually super relevant right now.
Yep.
Is he going to get back into this? I don't know. We'll see. Fenrir is going to be putting in some work here. All right, the Dryas is going to activate to search a... I think typically you do play 2 Sowing, so we'll get a second one. But then you won't be able to trigger the Dryas. And you definitely don't want this to declare an attack and take any damage because it will special summon the healer from the extra deck.
Yeah,
and
no
that's
way.
just 2 monsters, but even there, that doesn't really get you too far, except maybe trying to roll the dice with Sylvan Dance Peon. Oh, okay, doesn't activate the effect of the Dryas, of course. So, does take 24 damage from attacking into the defense position. Fenrir.
And I can just hear...
People need to stop summoning
Exactly,
their monsters in defense. Like,
I was
please stop summoning your monsters in defense against Rikka. Because now the Dryas gets the trigger because we've taken damage.
Yeah.
And, well, if we put it in attack mode, it would have just fell to the graveyard. But now we can access a Link 2 play. And I think what you can do here is try and go up into Sylvan Dance Peon. If we get lucky enough, you're going to be in serious trouble. No, the disruption, the follow-up that Simon has is very, very good, but it's looking a little bit shaky right now because we do need to try and... Okay, the Hare does not have the protection effect of the typical lineup of Mikanko. Normally you take reflected damage here, let's see. Ah, okay, so it needs an equip card.
Okay.
Right, that's why you can simply attack over this. So no equip cards, nothing on the field here, combining to be able to do that reflect damage. So now Alessandro, main phase 2, probably wants to try and go into... I mean, I think the Sylvan, right? Because in order to get for Jasmine, you need the tribute.
We just roll, right?
Yeah. 3 plants, let's go. Princess, Medan, and Petal. Why not?
That's it. The jackpot.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, declare 3. Okay, no, we're not doing that. Just double checking the text of Hare here.
Probably just checking the life point count in terms of attack, but yeah, we are exactly where we left. Let's see this, Sylvan.
So mill 3 cards from the top of the deck here. I can think of a few cards that are good at that, but let's see if Alessandro can get just as lucky as he needs to be here to try and get through this one.
Could be his day. Is 8-0.
Yeah, so Simon getting a translation there on the Neuron app, which you can use for translation at events. Bringing up your phone here to check the text and, yeah, declare a number. Is there ever a reason to not just declare 3?
Rarely.
Technically, the whole concept is it stacks your deck with the Sylvan, right? That's the whole gimmick of the deck. So then, if you only want to excavate 1, I suppose, like maybe that's the logic. Sure. But in this scenario, in this modern Sunavalon cross of Rikka, you're always going to want to try and go for 3. That's not a plan, that's not a plan, that's not a plan. Misses! All 3 have been whiffed by Alessandro. That is so unfortunate. Even just 1 would have been very useful. Would have given him some sort of lifeline here, but...
And now we can use the Fenrir too, right?
Did he use Fenrir at all? He didn't, right?
No, he didn't. Well,
okay, all right.
Kind of forgot. Well,
yeah, I don't think there was nothing to play around.
No, wait. No, that makes sense because he still has the talent, right? Yeah. I think he has talent in Crow in hand, so you don't use
it. That was the last card. Yeah, so it was Crow, Talent, Duster.
Yeah. I think he has
Talent put back one of the Crows.
Yeah, so he has talent, so that makes sense that you wouldn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we do see the DD Crow used right away, and here we could use... Okay, never mind.
Yeah, using the Crow on the equip card to be able to not recycle the Hare back into the hand here.
Yeah, but then we could have used the Fenrir. Well, whatever.
Yeah, Fenrir probably should have been used here. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. You can wait till you go to the battle phase.
It does not, and it seems like, although Simon maybe took a little bit of a risk, we said it was going to be very tough from that point on. Yeah. Alessandro's seen enough.
Alessandro picks up his cards here. We're going to head into game number 3 here. Despite a dreadful start in game 1, Simon has managed to pull it back here in this next match. Yeah,
even in the face of another Dronlock Bird, he showed us that his deck can perform quite a threatening field through it. And obviously the main actor there was his own copy of talent, because he could get a look at his opponent and...
Yeah, a bit of a strange interaction. I think, as you mentioned, it was probably better to just put back the sowing. You know, that would have prevented a lot of scary moments there, because if that Sylvan hit, he could have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm wondering whether maybe this could have been another misreading kind of thing, because usually you would see the sowing often after you have the Dryas. Maybe he just thought you needed the Dryas to activate it, you know, something kind of like that, and it just thought, okay, yeah, that's completely dead because I'm gonna take whatever monster. But yeah, now he knows, and now we will walk into game 3, and for the first time in the match, it will be Alessandro going first. So that's obviously gonna be a huge difference. And what do you guys think he might bring in now that he goes first?
Yeah, I don't think Alessandro's going to go for much here, right? Solemn Judgment, Naturia Rose Whip, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Judgment and the Rose Whip. Rose Whip is huge.
Could be very annoying, actually.
Yeah. It will be very, very annoying for
very
for
spell-heavy centric deck by Simon, and the only way to deal with Rose Whip typically is something like Imperm or Dark Ruler if you're playing that, but none of those in Simon's list, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, Simon doesn't play any hand traps though, but he has 3 Lava Golems and 3 Sphere Mods.
Yeah, that's what I was about to look at.
And
evenly
matched. Interesting approach. Yeah, that can actually work out pretty good against the Rikka deck. So interesting things from both, and Alessandro might be caught off guard now that he's expecting some hand traps.
If I'm playing a combo deck and my opponent just sits and waits for me post-siding, I'm terrified because, like, you know, you just know, like, okay, they don't play hand traps, they play the other scary cards instead.
Fair enough. I think it's, either the two ends of the spectrum, because nowadays especially I feel like you might just think they didn't draw any of them and you just won the game, and then you're caught by that Sphere mode. But we can see whether that will be the case. But regardless, just as a reminder, this will be the last game of the day. This is round 9, the last round of Swiss for day 1, and we are in game 3. So regardless, make sure at the end to tune in also tomorrow, because we have a lot more action starting at 9 a.m. once again, CET.
Another massive, huge tournament, and you won't want to miss this one because we've seen a lot of innovation, we've seen a lot of creativity this weekend. Sometimes formats can really race through and you don't really get time to innovate and sort of create new strategies and decks, but we've seen all kinds of things being played this weekend, so can't wait for the conclusion of this tournament. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I think that, okay, no, we're still pile shuffling here.
Yeah, but we
thought we're about to draw cards here. Yeah, this has been an event to remember.
For sure. I mean, 9 rounds and 9 different matches and with 9 different decks.
Can we go 18 for 18? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we're asking too much. But yeah, no, I do think our duelists are pretty much ready. So let's jump back into the action for game 3.
Game number 3 underway here. Alessandro will probably, most likely, want to be starting up and going first here with the Rikka strategy. So much power behind this deck. Cheeky little Rose Whip as well. If your hand is good enough, you can facilitate the effect to stop your opponent from activating any more than one singular spell and trap per turn, which admittedly could be all Simon needs if he draws that evenly matched or sphere modes. We'll see exactly how this plays out here. Okay, yeah, we've decided to humbly let our opponent draw their cards first. Let's see what Alessandro's got here. It's all about the important opening hand for Plant. Sometimes it's really weird. It's hard to bridge the deck because there's a lot of one-card starters with Lokai, the die, but then there's a couple of like awkward ones that sort of get you there if you open like the pure Rikka portion of your deck, and there isn't really like any major one-card combos that the Rikka options facilitate, at least not very powerful explosive plays, and not the greatest start here, but Glamour is decent enough to at least get you going. That's huge.
Yeah, and given that Sam is playing 0 interruptions here, I think that it's good news still for Alessandro. Maybe kind of a slow start for him, but this could get things started.
Yeah, it's amazing that in Europe we still haven't figured out how the Rikka cards are. Shoutouts to Simon checking the text on Glamour here. Probably double check it to make sure if it's not required to tribute something, because it does have that little bonus effect.
Yeah, but we're not using it.
Just gonna go for the one singular petal here. Yeah, no, Petal adds any card from any Rikka card from the deck to the hand here. Really strong card as well because the recursion that allows the Rikka deck to get a little bit of grind game. It's not very often combo decks have the ability to grind and last multiple turns here, but Rikka Petal has the effect to come back during the end phase of each of your opponent's end phases. It's going to give you a search on your follow-up, so...
Yeah, for now it doesn't seem like the ideal opening, as mentioned, but he's going to try to work with what he has.
You know, it's really funny because if we open something like Sphere Mode, then your opponent just opens on kind of like a simple like Madan pass.
You could lose to it.
Yeah, so you're sitting there with a completely dead Sphere Mode, hypothetically, so...
Yeah, because maybe they're going to have even the sheet with the Concon and that's it, and that could be enough if... Let's see.
Concon is such a powerful card. Tributes your opponent's monster for cost. Is, yeah, formidable effect, one of the best removals in the game.
And yeah, that's what we are going for, and maybe we might be onto something.
A simple little Concon play here, setting from the deck, most likely gonna get that sheet.
Like a Nambo combo. Yeah. I get that.
It really is.
Yeah. It is a Nambo combo, but does the job. Honest work.
Yeah, it ain't much, but tribute your card, steal your other card is enough to shut down so many decks in Yu-Gi-Oh!
And again, we might see those. Okay.
Okay, we got Snowdrop.
There.
Snowdrop allows itself to special summon out of the hand, but also special summon another monster alongside it. One of the ways in which you lock yourselves in this deck into plants.
Oof.
We top deck with Princess. Got a few options here. Do we want to go for a 4? Do we want to go for the 8 play? So manipulating the level on the Snowdrop.
Yep.
Goes for the Strenna. Strenna gives you resources. With the Princess in the graveyard, Princess allows you to tribute your opponent's monster and negate. So this is going to be a negate, a steal, and a tribute. Just off of this.
Yeah. Good enough for me.
Yeah.
And played around both Lava Golem and Sphere Mode.
Exactly. That's the most important thing. Is
obviously on purpose.
Yeah. Definitely not accidentally.
Yeah.
You probably want to tribute the Strenna, actually, on your opponent's turn, because it does have that effect to just special summon out of the extra deck the Hypertrion, and then attaches itself as a material, and then that gives you a further monster negate. So I think it kind of just depends on what Simon does, where maybe you don't actually need Concon's tribute effect, you'd rather tribute your own monster and get the Hypertrion. But again, it just depends if Alessandro's familiar enough with Mikanko to know if he's ever going to need to go into the tribute for cost or not. Sort of the varied options available to you here.
And yeah, it seems like that's about it. So play might be back to Simon.
Yeah, draws for turn here.
Evenly still pretty good, at least to try and force out some interactions, but let's see.
I think evenly gets rid of half of the interactions. The Princess is in the graveyard, so considering how much Simon's been reading these Rikka cards, I'd be really worried that he trips up on that. That's a very good start. Fenrir is able to force out the Concon if necessary, just by itself. Oh, that's quite a preemptive sheet here. But stealing it is really good because now it becomes your disruption.
Yeah.
So you take the Fenrir, use it yourself, unless what?
Unless you Lava Golem, because now you got 2 monsters on field. We might see that Lava Golem. Let's see.
Well, it's not Lava Golem. It's wait, does it play Lava Golem in the main? Okay, so it's Lava Golem in the main and then Sphere Mode in the side. So that's 6 tributes.
That could be a sick
that this
play.
deck has. Lava Golem into summon Mikanko's and crash into it, reflecting multiple thousands of damage.
Yeah, and he's reading it. That could be crazy, honestly. That would be really, really good here.
Yeah, the Rikka Queen is just a straight-up tribute your opponent's monster.
Let's see if I manifested it or not.
And by the way, this removes 2 bodies by itself because we technically haven't used the Concon tribute. It's amazing just how much even just like the Rikka cards do, because people usually complain about how like the Sunavalons, the Sunseed Loci does so much just by itself, but Alessandro proving here that if you can just go with like pure Rikka cards, it's actually really strong just by itself.
Yep.
All right, I'm just hoping at an absolute minimum Simon's recognized the Dance Princess in the graveyard to Oh, that's a huge thrust here. A lot of options, honestly. Like, there's genuinely so much that you can go for. You can, maybe he might talents back his own Fenrir, potentially.
Yeah, if he really wants to.
Does he play Duster?
Zeus also? Yeah, I want to check a bunch of stuff.
Simon?
Yeah, let's have a look through his spell arsenal here.
He doesn't play Zeus. But I think talent is, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, most likely talent at this point, yeah.
Talents is solid. And I think you're definitely going to win.
But again, the Droll and Lock.
Wow. Once more, Droll and Lockbird comes down here.
3 for 3.
3 for 3, 3 games in a row. No searching past this point here.
Wow.
Even if we wanted to dig through our deck to try and draw, that's not going to be available. However, Simon rolls up his sleeves, and when a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist rolls up their sleeves and starts playing cards, things get really serious. As we activate this talent, most likely to take. That's going to trade 1 for 1, and it really is just a case of how much can Simon's deck do under this Droll with the remaining 4 in our hand here. Okay, so I see, that's kind of cool. Alessandro's actually detached the material from the teardrop and removing the Fenrir so that it cannot be used as disruption against him, but no, it just kind of works out the same way, I suppose.
It's similar, yeah. But now he's...
Prevents a Zeus, maybe.
He doesn't have any more interruptions, I guess, right? So...
Not that we know of.
And there was the Sphere
mode. He was actually running it.
Yeah.
It was actually, I did actually draw it. That's the wrong one, right?
Yep.
You should have drawn Lava Golem.
It was there.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
It's not often you see Sphere mode, but here it is. And this is one of the best decks for it, so... And now it's time for the Sinful Spoils. Diabellstar is a really, really strong engine seen in Age of Overlords. It's been a massive part of the Rescue Ace engine and a massive part of that deck's consistency. We haven't seen too much of it on the stream this weekend. Probably we'll be seeing a decent amount of it into Top Cut tomorrow. Make sure you tune in tomorrow early, bright, for 9 AM Central European time. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. He opened 2 copies of Sphere Mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's a second one in his hand there. And that's the last playable card I think he's got access to, which is Huli.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. You actually like want your opponent to have monsters in situations like this, but we'll see if he can do any further combos, because the last remaining
with the Sphere
play
mode,
is the
He has a Snake Eye.
Send the other card to the field and go and special with the original Sinful Spoils. Curious to see where he goes from that. Probably just access into more warrior plays with the Isolde potentially.
Yeah, I think that will be the line. Maybe he really wants to go for that. He's considering it.
I think it's just counting as well, because like, I mean, there are 13 minutes, but he could try and push if there is no other interruption from Alessandro. Maybe there is a way to deal, you know, some significant amount of damage here.
13 minutes on the clock is a decent amount of time to play here. I don't think this one is probably going to be concluded by that, but
no,
we'll see. We'll see. But
if, for example, you manage to, I mean, obviously you're trying to go for game, but if, for example, you manage to push something along the line of 5,000 life points or anything like that, then your opponent might have a hard time, you know, dealing enough damage the next turn. So that can also be a way to win this one out.
Yeah, I think Simon's going to get a significant amount of damage here through. So, for sure, calculating what the best target is for the Sinful Spoil, I think it probably is just going to go for the level 1 tuner.
Yeah, you can tell he's definitely making some maths here, because do you think is there a way he can push enough for damage?
I'm really wondering, because it's the fact that he doesn't have any monsters. And typically, like, so much of your damage comes from your Mikankos doing the reflected damage, but I don't think he really needs to go for game, right? If he can get that set up, then that's really the most important thing here. Okay, just to update the players, there's going to be an extra 3 minutes on the clock here. Playing at a little bit of a slower pace. So we are getting a slow play warning. And extra time will be added onto the clock here.
Makes sense to me, yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously, you know, it's the final round of day one. You're both EXO, you really want to maintain that perfect record. And you want to make sure and you get every single play perfect down to the T. But do have to respect the state of the game and try and play at a pace that is reasonable for you and your opponent.
I think Simon has a plan, because yeah, he's really having a big think on this one.
That's telling me it doesn't have a plan, actually. And it's just trying to improv with what he's got, yeah. Yeah, this doesn't sound like it. And you cannot go for ice-hold with those. No. This might be, yeah. You have committed to play at this point.
Yeah, he's made a play now. He has to link that off.
Yeah, but this time you can't go for ice-hold anymore. And this might actually be quite the poor decision if he doesn't have another warrior.
Yeah, that's a small amount of damage.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go for ice-hold, then you can still go for the same. Oof, is that it?
Yeah, I think like at the minimum we should probably went into the battle phase prior to this, deal a little bit of damage, and then link up into the SP. SP, decent amount of. SP is a decent amount of interruption. Oh, we're linking off here?
Now. Interesting.
Well, it turns out SP is a warrior, so you can actually keep going.
Yeah, but again, why would you not do it first? I don't know.
Why did why did we go to the battle phase first?
Yeah. I mean, as mentioned, it looked as if he was panicking a little bit, and when you get a slow play warning, obviously you can't take your time again, because then it's most likely updated to a game loss. So maybe the tension is getting to Simon. He's used to the Fisherman stage, but yeah, this is tough.
Yeah, you can definitely sense that he's tripping up a little bit now. It's unfortunate, but he's still trying to make the best of it. Admittedly, he has cleared most of the threats. I think the next important thing really is to deal with the con. If you can get rid of that con, I think Simon will still be in a solid spot, despite the fact that we are still under Droll and Lockbird, remember, so no searching going to be used here.
At the same time, though, Rikka is very sneaky. In the end phase, you get back the Petal and you have the Princess, so it's not like you are completely out of resources, and he's still holding into at least 3 cars, I believe. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be quite easy to force out anything that this Hare does, because you can just like use the Princess, use the Con to remove the activation requirement by.
Is that really it?
Is that it? All right, we're gonna hit Princess. Is that 2 Princess in the grave though?
Okay.
No, he's gonna hit the Petal actually. Okay, he's gonna let him keep the Princess and try and stem the recursion that Petal's gonna offer here.
Yeah.
Wow. I think if he was able to end on the Mikanko trap and get rid of the Petal, I think he'd be in a really solid spot, but that's just not enough.
And yeah, unfortunately, as mentioned, the thing is, the order was what pretty much was messed, unfortunately, by Simon, because if he went first for the assault and then for this line, he still would have done the same, but he would have had a lot more resources around. Unfortunate, but now, yeah, as you can see here, Alessandro already had the glamour, so this is not a surprise. And he's just pretty much free to do whatever he wants, and I don't think there is much. We know that Simon does not play any Entrap.
Nope. And so, yeah, he might be able to push enough damage here, because Simon's left with 1 card.
This is surely enough, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to go through it. As long as you can get 4 materials, then it's Thrasher, Malayas, which is 84, 82, I think. Yeah, and then you can recycle back with the Strenna here, Strenna add back. Probably go for a Madan tribute special, send special, get the Hypertrion, and probably just go from there, really. You don't even need to like push too much damage, honestly. You just have to control the field and I think did we add back Teardrop? Yeah, we did. Yep, special summon Teardrop, get the body at the hand here. The Strena gets to activate in the graveyard. Tribute, special summon out a Hypertrion. And Simon just doesn't have anything left.
Yeah,
you know, we got one card in hand. The Little Knight was dealt with very easily with the Con-Con. Resetting with the Con-Con, activating the effect of the Hypertrion in response because we use the spell card. So now we have a spell and Monster Negate. Don't need to do any damage, really. Just control the field, keep poking, and then get him over 2 turns if you need to. It's really not that big of a deal here. It's going to be a bit of a formality for Alessandro here as he progresses through this. Yeah, just double checking the text here and the translation for the Strena, clarifying exactly how that works with a continuous spell.
Everything
okay,
in order.
I think the confusion there was, can you attach a spell after using a continuous spell rather than activating a spell? Remember, there's a difference between activating and using the effect of.
But yeah, as mentioned, this is a very good show of the deck and why the deck keeps on performing well. And although Simon is still technically in this, it looks like Alessandro will be the one who will advance with a 9-0 record to day 2 with Rikka once again.
I would say that I'm shocked and surprised, but I'm really not. There's always going to be some Rikka hero who's taken it all the way deep into top cut. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a decent amount of Alessandro tomorrow or any other plant player. This deck is, yeah, it looks so seamless in the way that it just masterfully takes down so much of the fields. The Con-Con being a massive factor of just controlling and tributing for cost, controlling with sheet, the resource management, the grind game. It really, the deck does have everything. Its weakest matchups generally are spell and trap related. Labyrinth, for example, I think is very, very good against this deck. There's not too many ways to disrupt. Typically, you end on things like Bengal Lancer, tributing and stealing monsters. I mean, you don't really care about that if you're playing a trap deck. So that's really like the major weakness of the deck. And as we talked about earlier, there's so many high-profile duelists this weekend on Labyrinth, and a lot of them are still in.
Yeah. Very good players as well, and with high scores, and maybe we will see them tomorrow in action. And I think Alessandro entered battle phase, right?
Yeah, Simon will get to live another turn, but in a very tough spot at the moment. Let's see this top deck.
Well, what can we possibly draw here? We need something as a follow-up and a starter in our hand, as well as maybe the sphere mode that we already had, that we saw earlier. So that's something. Okay.
Okay.
Now, admittedly, that dealt with every single disruption and removed the ability to use sheet, I believe. Can you use sheet with any Rikka card, or does it need to control a Rikka monster?
Let me check.
No, you don't really need anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We got the equip spell coming down here, activating to bring back Hare. Hare gonna activate the effect here to search out Fire Dance. Do we still have some resources here? Can Simon still stay in this?
Yeah, that's fear mode once again, maybe.
Yeah, so mixed it up there. I thought he just discarded sphere mode. He had the second one.
Yeah.
Plus engine here to follow up. Simon is making a bit of a comeback, it looks like. All right, let's see how far we can get out of this. We're going to use the banish effect of the Sinful Spoil in the graveyard, return Bellstar, and draw. And there's some good top decks in this Mikanko list here.
Yeah, I mean, the sheet is really good still, but that's pretty much the only interruption from Alessandro. And I think there might be a preparation of rights in Simon's end. Let's see. Time is kind of limited, but the life points gap is not that large. Maybe there's a chance here.
Yeah,
like
Simon can potentially get any sort of damage in. It's going to be pretty strong. I'm curious about his zone placement, because I'm wondering how he's going to actually out the sphere mode.
Yeah.
Because you actually can't target it for attacks. Or target it in general, I think, right? it's actually kind of a nuisance to deal with. But I think if he puts it in the middle zone, he can swap the control with the transverser. But yeah, we'll see what he does here. Simon just needs to deal not too much. Okay, double check the text on the Hypercheon that was tributed off here to make sure that it doesn't float back into anything. Yeah, no grave effect on the Hypercheon. Fire Dance. That was searched off of the Hara here. Let's see where this is going to get us.
Yeah, and Simon is back on play, honestly. And,
absolutely.
Not expecting this at all, but with, you know, the last 10 in the graveyard with the Mayu Shidori. I tried to pronounce it, but might have lost it.
Oh, did he special summon Huli from... Did we have Huli in the hand?
Everything was in the grave, yeah.
Oh, was the Huli in the grave? Yeah, so Fire Dance special summon hand or graveyard. Special summon the Huli out the graveyard. You can summon a monster to your opponent's field here.
He's going off.
Why? Yeah. I'm curious why Simon didn't summon back a monster to Alessandro's field. Is it to stop the activation requirement or something of the sheet? Like the sheet still is usable.
No, you can always use it,
yeah.
And you can just tribute a monster your opponent controls because of the Con and just take another one. So basically it gets rid of 2 monsters at the moment. Doesn't really have a requirement outside of that.
So I'm thinking we try and do something utilizing the Mikanko damage into giving your opponent back a big monster with a Fire Dance. But Con is going to be a real issue because you can tribute the Huli to steal the Fire Dance, but I'm wondering, are you allowed to activate Sheet when you have the targeting protection of Huli? Because if you can't target...
No, if you can't target, you can't use it.
So we can't use the Sheet.
If you can't target any monsters, no.
Yeah, so he doesn't have an activation requirement, right?
Yeah, because first you target and then you tribute. So
well, so I think the issue is because we have a legal target of Renaud, right? So we could tribute the Huli, then you can target the okay.
Yeah, if you have a legal target, you can, yeah. But essentially, the only one, the first one is the one you will take. And then you can tribute anyone without targeting.
All right. I'm wondering if maybe Alessandro could have used that sheet just now, but I think letting him extend a little bit here is fine. Oh, that's why we put it in this zone. Okay. Oh, I thought he was going for Anima. Never mind. Never mind.
That would also target, right?
Okay, so the Fire Flint Lady plus the Renaud going into Hita. And then climbing up into a Link 4.
Wow. Access code?
That's...
Is this access code?
I don't think any of this protects from Sheet. Right?
Yeah, I don't think we're missing something, right? Or
what? He didn't use it. Oh. That was not even... Ah, no, that was probably not Sheet.
Have we been sitting here stressing about Sheet for no reason? I thought he had it back with Strena.
Wow. So we flashed it, basically.
Yeah, we completely flashed it.
Why did we think there was a Sheet?
I thought he returned it back with the Strena.
Yeah.
Okay. Going for the follow-up Glamour instead there. I guess Alessandro didn't expect Simon to mount any comeback there, but if the Strena just returned the Sheet there, we would have been on, like, such a better position here.
And this is completely turned around by Simon, who can now, that he's ahead in life, activate this preparation of rights. And does he have enough to continue comboing off right here? Seems like it.
I don't think... did we use our battle phase?
Yeah, we did. He's ahead now.
Okay, yeah, 2100 life remaining for Alessandro.
Seems like it's actually Simon who pulled it off.
Less than 1 minute left on the clock. Wow. Here we got the preparation for the Ohime. We can go for ceremony. Ceremony special summon the Ohime from the hand. Get some more resources. Set up a steal on the opponent's turn. Simon is in a really commanding spot right now, and still has the effect of the access code, removing the last final resource from Alessandro, destroying the field spell. This is so hype how he's managed to come back through here. Wow, this is a match. This is a match.
Yeah, impressive, honestly. Yeah. looks like as it was almost, you know, about to win the game, Alessandro, and then suddenly Simon turned it basically on his
Sphere
favor.
mode. Sphere mode was the MVP by far of this match, and yeah, it seems like time is about to be
3, 2,
called.
1, time called. Bring back the Hara here. And
that's
time
it.
is called. GG,
Wow.
that's it. Fist bump. Alessandro actually faltering here to the Mikanko strategy. Despite a couple of minor hiccups there, I think potentially from both players. Like I said, we focused so much on that sheet there. I genuinely assumed that he added it back with the Strenna, but it turned out he tried to go for the resource. But doesn't matter if you have follow-up when there's 1 minute left on the clock or whatever, right? Like, that's it.
But what a match.
Unbelievable.
And what a way to end this day one. Incredible show-off here from two of our best players in the room. Now we know why they're both on, or at least they were on an 8-0 record. But in the end, after more than 40 minutes of dueling, more than 45 minutes of dueling, it was Simon who actually pulled it off and will advance with a 9-0 record. Amazing stuff, but thank you guys a lot for being with us for day one of YCS Bologna. Again, we'll be back tomorrow, but before, thank you, and let's go to Ed for the outro of the day.
Thank you, Marcello. Yes, that has been it. Congratulations to Simon there. That last round of our first 9 rounds of Swiss of our coverage here at YCS Bologna. Thank you very much to all of you who've been watching at home. It's been a long old day for all of our duelists, but we've made it through to the end. Be sure to tune in at 9 AM local time tomorrow. We'll be back for the last 3 rounds of Swiss before we get into that top 64 cut, heading towards who's going to be taking home that Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series title for Bologna. Thank you very much to all of you, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.